Welcome to the Not Just Cruising YouTube channel. You just caught me going through this week's, or recently's, that's not a word. You just caught me going through the cruise news, and today I'm going to share with you guys the top 5 cruise news stories that I found interesting and actually cared enough to share. That being, well, at least give you guys a little taste. Virgin Voyages is having a festival of food and drink at sea. Carnival is telling their passengers, yo, chill out, behave, don't be an a-hole. Spring break's coming. I guess they're having issues. And let's see. And a magician was tackled by a jealous boyfriend on a Royal Caribbean ship. So, let's get into it. Let's get into it. That's a transition right there. I'm gonna try to edit that. So let's get into the Carnival story, but it's about them warning their passengers to behave. But before I do that, let me ask you if you like my content. Whoa, I don't know why I turned into Matthew McConaughey. If you like my content, if you like cruising, if you just want to help a small YouTube channel grow, please smash that subscribe button. It does help me out a lot. But enough of me asking you to subscribe. Let's get into the news. Disclaimer, I am going to be looking at my laptop. I'm trying to do these videos in one take or less, so I have less editing to do, and I can put more videos out. Anyways, Carnival warns their passengers to behave. They put out a two-page statement released by Carnival. Part of that letter says, "Our experience has taught us that everyone has a better time when children are supervised. Noise in the hallways is kept to a minimum. Guests follow cues, and that a spirit of community and neighborliness is shown by all." Now, if you haven't heard, which if you're watching Cruise News, you probably have, Carnival hasn't had a lot of spirit of community and neighborliness over the past few years, especially since COVID. Carnival's kind of been known to be a hit or miss cruise line. Sometimes you get a rowdy crowd and sometimes you get a normal, average, run-of-the-mill cruise crowd. But that rowdy crowd can ruin some people's cruises, especially if you're somebody who isn't rowdy yourself. And I don't mean rowdy in the sense of like liking to necessarily drink and party, but things more like people knocking on your door and trying to sell you weed or coke. People with speakers blasting music down the hallways or blasting music on their balconies that is annoying you. And, things like, obviously, chair hogs. That's kind of an issue. It's always been an issue. But the point is that Carnival has been suffering from a lack of spirit of community and neighborliness for a while, and they've been trying to combat that by having like drug sniffing dogs. They're starting to confiscate Bluetooth speakers at the port if they find them, and they're also dealing with the chair hogs, where if they see your stuff has been there for a while and you haven't been, then they will move your stuff so somebody else can take that chair. And this letter is just part of them taking steps to try to quell the ratchetness on board, I guess. I don't know what you call it, but they're doing their best. I think Carnival has found themselves in an interesting situation. They used to be like the tippy top cruise line in the world, and now they're still like the biggest cruise line in the world, but they've also have a kind of a bad reputation now of having just unpleasant experiences on board, or people having unpleasant experiences. So, anyways, that's the Carnival news. On to the next one. MSC Bellissima is the first cruise to sail from mainland China since COVID. This is interesting. I guess I didn't realize it's been that long since a cruise ship has sailed from mainland China. The ship is going to be home ported in Shanghai, and it will be doing itineraries, obviously, in Asia. Going to places like Japan and the Southeast Asia, Korea, things like that. The first departure will be in April on a 5-night voyage, going to places like Kagoshima, Kochi, and Yokohama, Japan. So that actually sounds like a really cool itinerary. That's something that's on my bucket list of cruises, is doing an Asian cruise, especially going to like Thailand or Vietnam. And it looks like the MSC Splendida, I love the names MSC has, the Bellissima. The Splendida will join the Bellissima in winter of 2024. So it sounds like MSC is starting to, they're leading the push going back into the China market. However, they aren't the only ones going back into the China market. It looks like Royal Caribbean Spectrum of the Seas will be arriving in mainland China in late April of this year. So basically right behind the MSC, Bellissima. I just love saying that word. So if you're somebody who is in China, or if you want to, if you're in that region of the world and you want to take a cruise out of China, now you have options. And that's really cool, considering the fact that, you know, you haven't had options. And I think it's been 4 years since COVID, which is crazy to say, but yeah. So it's cool that people are being able to cruise out of China now. All right, on to, we're gonna, this is gonna be an edit. I'm gonna have to edit this part, but. All right, on to cruise news. Item number 3, a magician is suing Royal Caribbean for 75,000 big ones. Are all dollars big ones? I don't know. But yeah, a magician is suing Royal Caribbean for $75,000 for his medical expenses that he received after being tackled while doing one of his shows. This incident happened on a 5-night cruise on the Quantum of the Seas, I believe, out of Brisbane. And apparently what happened is a woman was on board, or not on board, she was on stage, like he does interactive magic. I was gonna say magician. He is a magician, he does magic. Anyways, she was on the stage doing some sort of trick with him, and apparently the boyfriend got jealous and came and tackled him. The boyfriend, I'm actually excited to do this. The boyfriend walked up and said, "All right, mate, you got my girlfriend up here. She's doing magic, all right? I don't like that. It's my girl." And he freaking took him to the ground like an Aussie does. All right, that's a bad Aussie accent. I can do better, but it takes me a while to get warmed up. Yeah, apparently the boyfriend got jealous, tackled the magician, I guess because his girlfriend was in the vicinity of another man. I don't know. But yeah, and the magician hit his head on the stage, is what he's alleging, and now he's suing Royal Caribbean for $75,000 for the medical expenses. If I had to guess, Royal Caribbean's probably just going to end up paying it, considering that they are a gigantic company and $75,000 to them isn't really much. They probably they probably make that in service fees in like a day on one ship. So I have a feeling that they'll give him some sort of, it probably won't be 75, but they'll give him some sort of settlement, I'm sure, just to get rid of the issue. But interesting story, nonetheless. All right, on to the next cruise news. And this one is interesting because Norwegian recently has been having a lot of issues. You have, I think it was, Sky or Star or something. I think it was the NCL Star. The Norwegian Star was having issues sailing to Antarctica, and people were pissed. And then NCL had issues on the NCL Dawn, where they had a gastrointestinal illness spread throughout the ship and cause havoc on that ship. And they actually were delayed coming back to port by 2 days in East Africa because the government in East Africa thought that people on board had cholera. So Norwegian hasn't really had a great year. If you look on the forums and Facebook pages and Reddit, you'll see that people are pretty pissed at Norwegian and people are calling for a boycott of Norwegian. Now, I just got off the NCL Bliss. If you watched my ship tour, I appreciate you. But as you can see, and as I explained on that ship, that was a full capacity ship. I don't think this whole boycott thing is working. I think at the end of the day, NCL offers a good product, and especially with their free at sea perks, I think people will continue to use them. But anyways, point being is that NCL has had issues this year, and now NCL is having more issues with the Norwegian Getaway having a technical problem. It's a unexplained technical problem, or they haven't divulged what it is, but apparently it's making the ship sail just a wee bit slower than they would like, so they'll be arriving to port 4 hours late at 12:30 p.m. instead of, I guess, 8:30 a.m. The ship right now is on a 10-night Bermuda Caribbean cruise that left on March 7th from New York, New York. And once it gets back to New York, New York, like I said, it will be late, but anybody who has travel arrangements through Norwegian, if the ship being late affects your travel arrangements, then you'll be fine. They'll adjust your flights. If need be, they'll book you a hotel. They'll figure it out. It's on them that this is happening. Now, if you're somebody who booked your travel arrangements independently, that's a different story, and I feel for the people who booked earlier flights. If you have a 1 or a 2 o'clock flight out of JFK, girl, you ain't gonna make it. So if you have independent travel on that ship, you're kind of ship out of luck. See what I did there? Yeah, you're kind of screwed, and hopefully you have travel insurance. And that in this experience and all these other experiences that we've seen with NCL and other cruise lines where things happen. Something happened on my NCL cruise. I have a cruise news I need to put out for you guys. I won't tell you what it is, so it's a little bit of a surprise. But point is that things happen, and sometimes your cruise doesn't go exactly how you want, and sometimes your cruise comes back late, or it gets delayed, or people get sick, and that is why you need travel insurance. So if you're booking a cruise, make sure you get travel insurance. All right, this will probably be another edit. This will probably be the only part where I actually edit things. It's like here. Or maybe not. Maybe I'll leave this in. Okay, on to the next one. Or on to the last one. Ooh. Oh no. What time is it? I don't have a watch. We're coming to the end of the cruise news for today. Hopefully I'll be putting out more of these, considering I think that I really don't need to edit this very much. I think I'm getting a little bit better at talking to you guys. Anyways, Virgin Voyages is having a food and drink festival at sea. Apparently, this is a thing that Norwegian has done before. They call it the Eat and Drink Festival. And according to my notes, they're relaunching its celebrated Eat and Drink Festival this year in July. This festival is basically, it reminds me a lot of Disney's California Adventure. They have like a food and wine festival. It reminds me a lot of that, where it's like you have the base product, which is the ship and Virgin Voyages, and then for like a month out of the year, they have like a festival come where it's literally just food and drinks. It feels very similar. So it looks like they're going to, it's just basically a month-long festival where you can book a cruise during that month and you'll be a part of the festival. I assume prices are going to go up because it'll be kind of an exclusive thing, and apparently it's a hit. People really seem to like it. But you'll be able to find unique food and drinks on board. They are bringing on they've collaborated with a Michelin star chef named Matt Lambert. No idea who that is, but he's got a Michelin star, and that's more Michelin stars than I have. And I'm a pretty good cook, so he's got to be good. Yeah, apparently they're bringing on a Michelin star chef, and they're redoing the dining room, like I forget what it's called, but whatever their version of the dining room is, it's different on Virgin. Virgin's different. That's their whole thing. They're gonna have like a 6-course meal that you wouldn't get on other cruises. Apparently, basically, if you're a foodie, if you enjoy unique cocktails, this is the cruise for you. And it says that they're also going to have events like 7 Sea Sippers and a cocktail-wide treasure hunt. Right? I'm sorry, a cocktail ship-wide treasure hunt. So basically, let's get hammered and go look for stuff. Sounds like a good time to me. But yeah, I mean, you know, there's really not much to say except for this sounds like something interesting. I think that this is something I would do if it was in my budget and I could get the time to do it. But if you're a foodie or you're a drinky, if you're a foodie and an alcoholic, this is the cruise for you. So it might be something you might want to consider looking into. But anyways, this is it. That's it. That was the last one. The top 5 cruise news stories that I cherry picked for you guys, because some things I just don't have inspiration to talk about. So I find ones that I find interesting, and then I can kind of riff and have these conversations with you guys. So if you guys like this, if you like this content, please, if you've made it this far, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell. I'll do the thing and put the thing with the bing and the dung. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys watching. You know, I feel like I do my best to get better at this every week. I know that things are going to be messy for a while, and I just hope that you guys were willing to come along this journey and watch me grow. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video of this edition of Cruise News, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully this thing is still on. It's not.